Hello, hello, hello. This is from the losing day. Right here, right there. I don't know. I thought I had this in the bag, but I have to review it here because I misread it in the notes here. First is a Q-driven sell-off. We're in the thick part of the profile, which already makes this a less than optimal trade for what I'm trying to do. We see 27 at 57.50 buy side and they're absorbed. That tells me there's strength. Q side. We uptick there. I get scared and think it's going to run because of all the orders into the LVN starting at 56, the 92, the 56.50, 96, that bid stack, and then 70 and 53 at 55.50 and 55 even. And then it sells off there. It doesn't sell off. But notice how 32 trades at 57. Active participants want lower prices. Um, the whole point of this trade is that, well, I know the reason I entered when I was trading it is because of all this resting liquidity from 55 to 57, and the fact that it's not aggressive. There aren't people stepping in front of it to front run the orders and use it as a backstop. So it went from aggressive to helpless or resting, and the market is either looking for liquidity or it's being pushed away in a certain direction by larger orders or an imbalance of flow. If there's 100 there and 20 there, the market's going to move lower as people stack on the 100, and because it's heavier, as long as it's sell pressure, it could be fake or somebody could fill it there for a myriad of reasons. But I'm kind of washed, so I'm not going to bother explaining them because I can't. 56. That's what I'm looking at. That's why I have this trade on, even though it's a breakout trade from the thick spot to the thin spot, which is generally a lower probability trade. It's not bad actually, it just depends on the flow. The fact that we're two ticks away from that larger stack of orders at 56.50 really kind of tells me all I need to know. That's not true, but it's a good indicator. I scratch here because we get too far away, I believe. And then these sellers get absorbed here big time, 25 and 75. I don't like that at all. Then 53 hits. That's really good. See the 53 at 57.50, how it's absorbed on bids. So somebody wants to front run all these large orders at the end of the profile. Oh, I know what's going on. All this liquidity is going to clear and it'll either sell off depending on if value's built between 56.75 and 58.25, or it'll revert back into the distribution. The market reverts 70% of the time, so it probably will revert. But that really is contingent on order flow. What's going to happen is all this liquidity is going to be filled, and everybody on the buy side who stacked in front of it thinking they were going to get long are going to be forced to puke lower, which is probably going to cause price to run, so it won't revert. It just clicked. What that means is, assuming this continues to happen, big size thrown at 57.50 and price doesn't move up, and the fact that there's resting liquidity here, this set the active participant up for failure, and it's going to be a bloodbath in a second, is what I'm assuming is going to happen. Okay, so we jump up there, but there's no tape. No, there's no auction on the inside prints. It's very fast. If you see if you see price flicker, like we're trading 38s and they flicker to 825, 850, and they come back down immediately, and then we sit there, values at 38. The flicker could be an indication of strength if it happens over and over again, or if it jumps three ticks, or if it's an active participant, or the Q pulls. Mainly, you want it to be an active participant. You see like a 10 here, a 12 here, a 15 there from buy side. That tells me active participants want higher prices. That's good order flow, and the Q isn't fighting them. They're not absorbing. If they throw threes here and then tape doesn't move, they got absorbed, and the cue's heavy. So that scared me in the periphery, um, in the review, that it jumped 2 ticks. Let me make sure I'm not muted. That it jumped 2 ticks. But the fact that we get out of 57.50 again uh, tells me, from a time-based value perspective, a time-based auction market theory perspective, um, that we're good. And what you want to see now is 56.75 and 57.75. The distribution between that thicken up. It thickens up there. We see a bit of a sell-off at 58 on inside prints, and it doesn't do much, which isn't good. But much better than that is the absorption at 24 at 58.50. Which is really good. Huh. What that means is somebody through 24s, they're still trying to follow this Q plunge upward, uh, the stack of bids, and nothing's happening, which is good from a sell perspective. I'm a little antsy on the trade, and I'm not watching any of this in real time. Uh, the 25th was a horrible day for trading. I just spammed things and thought it would work out. That's why I labeled the one video gambling addiction setups, because that's what it was. I just called it what it was. It's gambling addiction if you do that. And I've been doing that for so long. 37 hits, 57.25 now, 75 now. It doesn't move, which isn't good. Uh, um, but given the context, the fact that there's such a thick buy queue, it's expected. What you should really be watching in this context is if buyers can't lift. If buyers can't lift, then that's not good at all. See, 27, and all right, that's horrible. Okay, look, so we hit 27 there, and then um, it dries up, and only 10 hits at 75. So if you see buyers hitting 27 on lower prices, and you see 10 hitting on higher prices, that tells you buyers don't want higher prices anymore. From the inside, from an inside print perspective, an active participant perspective, that's bad. And the fact that 27 bid at 57.50 and it was absorbed and the bid ask remained the same, well, there's a tick slippage, so that's wrong. But the fact that it didn't jump to at least 75 is bad as well. So there's somebody passively absorbing all the people um, who are front running this queue. Oh, what I'm curious to, I think it just clicked again. What I think is going on, what I'm curious to figure out is if these orders trade. If they trade and they were real liquidity, fine. But I'm wondering if somebody is either spoofing this queue, trying to clean people up before they sell it lower. Um, so all these market orders are going to get in and say there's a queue behind it, and then they're going to pull the queue and it's going to dump, or it's real liquidity that we eat through. I'm not sure. Or they want um, sell orders filled. That might be what's going on as well. So you're absorbing all these people from a 3 ticks my group is about to walk in. Sorry, that was my mom. Either these are real orders, or it's somebody faking the entire queue and holding the and or it's somebody faking the entire queue and passively absorbing the sellers here in order to keep the queue intact, and also playing the other side. They want to load orders at the end of this distribution, which is thickening up. When you see a distribution thicken up, that means value is shifting. That's why the profile is pink, so I can see it in the periphery, because the black wasn't doing it. I think that's what's going to happen, and so it's probably going to be a bloodbath. Um, that or this queue ran us up from like 52.75, and so there was, I have notes on it. It's a game theory thing. At the end of a is it emergent? Is it at the end of an emergent? Emergent, yeah. Emergent behavior when like 55 people work together, 55 market makers. At the end of a uniform emergent move, the incentive to defect and go in the opposite direction becomes higher than the incentive to sustain it. So that might be what's happening too. And late buyers who want to trade the queue are getting in, and somebody has defected prematurely and is absorbing all the buyers here. And then sellers step in. Notice how there was like a 26 there and a 27 here, and they were absorbed and price didn't move a tick. And then only 15 trades, 25 and 5 trades, and we're down 2 ticks, and we're down violently so. So there's evident weakness there. 24. So it was a real queue, 66 trades. I'm chasing it now because I know it's about to go. 80 trades, right? So the fact that it was a real queue, I mean, I suppose people can throw up, which is what they're doing. See the 41? Somebody threw up. They had to get out. Um, those people are offside. It's either going to dry up here or that was so much absorption. I'm willing to bet it goes up a little bit lower, but it really just depends on order flow. See the 62 at 45.50? So somebody bid again thinking it was, we're going back to the distribution, most likely, or for whatever reason they bid, then 30 bid. Price is sitting there, it's not moving. There's a plunge now. And then 25 is absorbed at 55, even though price goes against me. I don't care about the trade, I'm just watching the order flow. It's going to puke in a second. And notice how we're in this thin spot. We're out of the thicker distribution now. Price has more room to run in the illiquid spots where directional participants are present. I think it's going to be more of a bloodbath in a second. And then 52.50, 28 absorbed. That would be a good place to get out. And then they partially start rewarding the sell queue. I mean the buy queue. Notice how the ask jumps. And there's order flow there, but did they absorb all that too? Yeah, from like 28 to 34, 20, 47, 47 at 54.25. All those people that get in, they're fuel for the move down. That's who you're trading against. See more bids there, and then we hit 53.25. That would be a good indicator to get short. Okay, now notice that the queue is drying up. The move is most likely coming towards an end. See how thin this is? When you see that, unless sellers step in, now they're getting absorbed. 40 trades at 52, and it's not moving price. I flip long here just on intuition, not because I'm paying attention to this, even though I am in the review. I scratch. I wouldn't be allowed to trade this in a regular session because it's a different quote unquote setup. And so it requires more cognitive bandwidth to learn another setup. It's just not intelligent or cost effective. It would be like switching assets and learning everything over again. Like I'm probably going to stay on ES forever because I started it first. Unless I get a mentor. If I can have a real human being who's been doing it for years sit down with me and look me in the eye and tell me what to do, then I'll do it. I'll switch assets. But that's the only way. So now the move is over. We're just forming a distribution now. I can't say we're going up, we're going down. It's really just a light, a liquid move off 54.50 and 52.75. All these people died off of 56.50, I think. That looks about right where the initial Q was. So those people turned into fuel for the fire.